Most people leave school believing that working hard automatically leads to wealth. But the truth is that hard work alone has never guaranteed financial freedom. Millions of people wake up early every morning, work exhausting jobs for decades, and still struggle financially because nobody ever taught them the real math behind wealth creation. School taught formulas for algebra, chemistry, and geometry, but it rarely taught the formulas that determine whether someone stays broke or becomes financially free. Nobody explained how money multiplies, how assets quietly outperform salaries, how debt steals decades of life, or how small financial habits eventually shape entire futures. The reality is that millionaires do not think about money the way ordinary people do. They operate using completely different equations, and once you understand these equations, your relationship with money, work, time, and freedom begins to change forever. The first millionaire formula: own more than you owe. The first millionaire math nobody taught you in school is that income alone will never make you wealthy. Society trains people to worship high salaries, but salary is not the same thing as wealth. There are people earning huge incomes who are secretly drowning in debt every single month. There are celebrities making millions who eventually go bankrupt. There are professionals driving luxury cars while struggling to pay bills behind closed doors. Why? Because income without ownership is temporary. Wealth is not measured by how much money comes into your hands. Wealth is measured by how much money stays under your control and continues growing over time. Most people spend their lives trapped in what can only be called the survival equation. They earn money, immediately spend it, then repeat the cycle endlessly. The paycheck arrives and disappears almost instantly. Rent consumes a large portion. Loans take another portion. Impulse purchases quietly drain the rest. By the end of the month, there is almost nothing left to build a future with. The dangerous part is that this cycle becomes normalized. Entire generations begin believing that struggling financially is simply a normal part of adulthood. Millionaires think differently because they understand a life-changing truth. Every dollar must either become an asset or it becomes a missed opportunity. The average person spends first and invests whatever remains. The wealthy invest first and spend what remains. That single shift changes everything. When most people get a raise, they immediately upgrade their lifestyle. They move into more expensive apartments. They buy newer phones. They increase entertainment spending. They finance cars they cannot truly afford. Their income rises, but their financial pressure rises too. This is why many people earning far more money than before still feel financially trapped. Their expenses expanded together with their income. Millionaires avoid this trap because they understand lifestyle inflation. They know that appearing rich and actually becoming wealthy are two completely different things. A person wearing designer clothes may secretly be financially stressed every day. Meanwhile, someone living modestly may quietly own investments, generating income month after month. The wealthy focus on one powerful equation: assets minus liabilities equals wealth. Assets put money into your pocket. Liabilities pull money out of your pocket. Most people spend years buying liabilities while believing they are building status. Expensive cars lose value. Constant upgrades drain income. Endless subscriptions quietly consume future investment potential. Meanwhile, millionaires use extra income to buy assets like businesses, stocks, real estate, or systems that continue producing money long after the original effort is finished. The average person asks, "Can I afford this?" The millionaire asks, "Will this grow my future?" That difference may sound small, but it completely changes financial destiny. Another thing school never taught is that savings alone are not enough. Many people believe keeping money in a savings account is the ultimate financial strategy, but inflation quietly destroys idle money over time. If your money grows slower than inflation, you are actually becoming poorer, even while saving. Millionaires understand that money must move. money must multiply. Money sitting still slowly loses power. That is why wealthy people become obsessed with ownership. Ownership creates leverage. Ownership creates income beyond personal labor. Ownership creates freedom. A person who only relies on salary remains dependent on working continuously. But someone who owns assets can eventually reach a stage where money begins working on their behalf. Imagine the difference between waking up needing to work for every dollar versus waking up while investments, businesses, or assets continue producing income automatically. That is the difference between surviving and building wealth. The wealthy are not obsessed with looking rich. They are obsessed with becoming financially independent. They understand that true success is not about impressing strangers. It is about gaining control over your own life. And that control begins when assets start growing faster than expenses. The second millionaire formula: time multiplies money. The second millionaire math nobody taught you in school is that time is more powerful than income. Most people spend years chasing bigger salaries while ignoring the single greatest wealth-building tool on earth: compounding. Compounding is the process where money begins earning money, and then those earnings begin earning even more money over time. At first, the growth seems small, almost invisible, but eventually it accelerates in ways that completely shock people. The reason many people fail financially is because they underestimate exponential growth. Human beings naturally think in straight lines, but wealth grows exponentially when given enough time. Imagine two people. One begins investing small amounts consistently at age 20. Another waits until 40 to start investing larger amounts. Even if the second person invests more aggressively later, the first person often still ends up wealthier because compounding rewards time more than intensity. This is one of the biggest financial tragedies in modern society. Young people believe they have unlimited time, so they delay investing. They think small amounts do not matter. They spend years consuming instead of building. Then suddenly, decades pass, and they realize time was the greatest financial asset they ever had. Millionaires understand that small, consistent actions matter more than dramatic occasional actions. Tiny investments repeated over many years become life-changing because compounding transforms consistency into massive outcomes. A person who invests steadily for decades often outperforms someone constantly chasing quick money. The problem is that modern culture promotes impatience. Social media glorifies instant success. People want fast wealth, overnight breakthroughs, and immediate luxury. Nobody wants the slow process anymore. But real wealth is often painfully boring in the beginning. Progress feels slow. Sacrifice feels difficult. Investments seem tiny. Results appear invisible. This is exactly where most people quit. But those who remain disciplined eventually experience something powerful. There comes a stage where investments begin growing faster than personal effort. That is when wealth creation starts accelerating dramatically. Compounding also explains why debt is so dangerous. The same mathematical force that can make someone rich can also keep someone trapped for decades. Credit card debt compounds. Interest compounds. Loans compound. Many people spend years paying for temporary pleasures because they underestimated how expensive borrowed money becomes over time. Millionaires respect compounding because they understand that every financial decision echoes into the future. They know that wasting money today is not only losing today's money, it is losing all the future growth that money could have produced. Think about that carefully. Every unnecessary purchase carries a hidden future cost. That expensive impulse purchase is not just one expense. It is also the loss of years of future compounded growth. Wealthy people see money differently because they constantly think about future value, not just present pleasure. This mindset creates patience, and patience is one of the rarest financial superpowers in existence. Millionaires are willing to delay gratification because they know temporary sacrifice creates permanent freedom. While others spend money trying to appear successful, the wealthy quietly invest in their future. They understand that financial discipline today creates options tomorrow. Eventually, compounding reaches a stage where investments begin producing serious income. That is when financial freedom becomes realistic. The wealthy become obsessed with reaching this point because it changes everything psychologically. Once assets begin generating meaningful cash flow, dependence on active labor decreases, freedom increases, stress decreases, choices expand. That is why time matters so much. Every year spent delaying financial education costs more than most people realize. Compounding rewards those who start early, stay patient, and remain consistent even when progress feels slow. The third millionaire formula: stop selling only your time. The third millionaire math nobody taught you in school is that jobs alone rarely create massive wealth. A job can provide stability, but true financial freedom usually comes from leverage and scalability. Most people spend their entire lives trapped in the time for money equation. They work 1 hour and receive 1 hour's worth of pay. This system has limits because human beings only have 24 hours in a day. No matter how hardworking someone is, they eventually reach exhaustion. Time becomes the ceiling. Millionaires escape this trap by building systems that continue producing income even when they are not personally working every minute. They understand leverage. Leverage means using assets, technology, businesses, investments, or systems to multiply results beyond personal effort. One employee can only serve a limited number of people, but a scalable business can serve thousands. One digital product can be sold infinitely. One investment can continue growing for years. One piece of content online can generate income repeatedly. The wealthy constantly ask themselves one important question: how can I stop depending only on my personal labor? That question changes financial direction completely. This is why millionaires invest heavily in skills. Skills create opportunity. Skills create value. Skills increase earning power. But more importantly, high-value skills can eventually be transformed into scalable systems. Schools often train people to become employees, but rarely taught them how to think like owners. Ownership changes everything because ownership separates income from physical presence. A business owner can eventually earn from systems. An investor can earn from assets. A creator can earn from intellectual property. This creates financial leverage. Another thing most people never learn is the power of multiple income streams. Depending entirely on one paycheck is extremely risky in a changing world. Industries collapse, companies downsize, technology replaces jobs, economies shift. Millionaires understand this risk, which is why they diversify income sources. One stream may slow down while another continues growing. This creates stability and resilience. The wealthy also understand the value of environment. Your financial mindset is heavily influenced by the people around you. If everyone around you normalizes debt, overspending, and financial chaos, it becomes difficult to think differently. But if you surround yourself with ambitious, disciplined, financially educated people, your standards begin changing automatically. Environment silently shapes expectations. Millionaires intentionally place themselves around people who inspire growth, knowledge, and opportunity. They understand that relationships often open doors. Money alone cannot open. Another major difference is how wealthy people consume information. The average person spends countless hours consuming entertainment. Millionaires spend years consuming financial education. They study investing, business, sales, psychology, leadership, and economics because knowledge increases decision-making ability. Financial literacy changes how you see the world. Suddenly, opportunities become visible everywhere. Problems become business ideas. Trends become investments. Skills become assets. The wealthy do not merely work harder. They think differently. They learn differently. They position themselves differently. And over time, those differences completely transform financial outcomes. The fourth millionaire formula: freedom is the real goal. The final millionaire math nobody taught you in school is perhaps the most important truth of all. Money is not the real goal. Freedom is. Most people chase money without ever asking what they truly want money to do for them. But eventually, every wealthy person realizes that money itself is only valuable because of the freedom it creates. Freedom to control time. Freedom to choose where to live. Freedom to rest. Freedom to help family. Freedom to walk away from toxic situations. Freedom to build the life you actually want. The saddest thing in life is reaching old age while still financially trapped because nobody taught you these principles early enough. Imagine working for decades only to realize too late that you could have approached money completely differently. That realization hurts deeply. But the good news is this: financial transformation begins with awareness. The moment your thinking changes, your direction changes. Most people believe wealth requires massive starting capital. That belief keeps them frozen for years. In reality, wealth is usually built gradually through consistent decisions repeated over long periods of time. Millionaires are not created overnight. They are created through disciplined habits practiced year after year. Every wealthy person once started uncertain. Many began with limited resources. What separated them was not luck alone. It was mindset, patience, financial education, emotional discipline, long-term thinking. One of the biggest mindset shifts is understanding the difference between looking rich and becoming wealthy. Looking rich is expensive. Wealth is productive. Looking rich requires constant spending. Wealth generates income. One creates pressure, the other creates peace. Millionaires also understand emotional control. Financial success is deeply connected to psychology. Fear causes people to avoid investing completely. Greed causes people to chase unrealistic shortcuts. Ego causes overspending. Impatience causes people to quit too early. Emotional decisions quietly destroy financial futures. The world constantly pressures people into consumption. Advertisements are designed to create dissatisfaction. Social comparison pushes people into unnecessary spending. Trends convince people to upgrade endlessly. But wealthy people understand something powerful. Every unnecessary expense steals future freedom. Once you understand this, discipline stops feeling restrictive and starts feeling empowering. Every wise financial decision becomes a step toward independence. Every investment becomes a seed for future security. Millionaires also know that failure is part of the process. Not every investment succeeds. Not every business works immediately. Mistakes happen, losses happen. But financially successful people keep learning, adapting, and moving forward. They refuse to let temporary setbacks destroy long-term vision. The greatest financial danger is not failure, it is inaction. Too many people wait for perfect conditions before starting. They wait for more confidence, more income, more certainty, or more knowledge. Meanwhile, years continue passing. Opportunities disappear. Compounding loses valuable time. Millionaires understand that imperfect action beats endless hesitation. Imagine where your life could be 10 years from now if you truly mastered these principles. Imagine building assets instead of liabilities. Imagine investing consistently instead of consuming endlessly. Imagine developing skills that increase your value. Imagine waking up with investments producing income while you sleep. Imagine living without constant financial anxiety. That future is possible, but it requires a completely different relationship with money. The truth is that the financial system rewards people who understand its rules. Unfortunately, many of those rules were never taught in school. Traditional education taught people how to become workers, but rarely taught them how to become owners. It taught people how to earn money, but not how to multiply it. It taught mathematics without teaching wealth mathematics. But now you know better. The millionaire math nobody taught you is simple but life-changing. Spend less than you earn. Buy assets. Invest consistently. Use time wisely. Let compounding work. Develop valuable skills. Create leverage. Control emotions. Think long-term. Focus on freedom instead of appearances. Those principles may sound simple, but applied consistently over time, they can completely transform an ordinary life into an extraordinary one. And one day, years from now, you may look back and realize that understanding these financial equations changed not only your bank account, but your entire future forever.